Yeah, what's good, YouTube? Hey, bro, we got two spooky top 10 best quirks in My Hero Academia. I didn't look at them. I'm not trying to look at them because I actually want to like guess and shit. But if you didn't read the manga, you probably won't know most of them. Well, not necessarily most of them, but you probably won't. I think Deku's there with All for One. One for All is there. I seen Todoroki in the thumbnail, so I'm just. But Icy Hot is actually fire, regardless. I think. I forgot the nigga's name. He's the nigga that like could turn his body mad slim, like mad thin, bro. If you seen, he did something with Bakugo in the manga. If you seen it, bro, I think he's there. Maybe the bunny girl, the rabbit girl, maybe she's there. That shit kind of fire. I don't know who else, to be honest.
Everybody? Too spooky here.
Too
and it's finally time for us
spooky
to
here.
count down the top 10
I don't know,
best
have I
quirks
seen?
in My
I might have
Hero
seen some Too Spooky
Academia.
videos before. But
This
I don't
video
know.
has been a long time coming, as from the previous.
Oh yes, the little girl that could reverse quirks.
And going over the worst quirks, we had a light goal that you guys absolutely
Detroit.
So this time around, I'm going to make it a little more different.
Why you made that
And
with that
tell
sound
you now
effect?
that another My Hero Academia top 10 will come to be if we end up hitting 15,000 likes on this video.
What was that?
But you don't have to hit the
9,000?
like button just yet. Watch the video
Okay,
first and
yeah.
see if you enjoy. But either way, 15,000
AW.
likes, new My Hero Academia.
You know, that's a
top 10
smart way of
coming
saying
in
it.
the
Hey,
future.
bro, you don't have
Also,
to
make sure
like it
subscribe
right
with
now.
notifications
Just
on if you like
at the
what
end,
you
if
see.
you enjoy it,
Follow
you
me on
just
Twitch
like
at
it.
@2spookster to hang out with me in some streams.
Yo, this is a
To
long
quickly
ass
establish
intro.
list for the- I'll be following to
Okay,
format
yeah.
this
I'm gonna hear the
list.
rules.
To start, do not confuse this list for the strongest quirks in the series, because that's not what this list is about. We've
Okay.
already went over the strongest quirks before, and while that list is pretty outdated now, the best and strongest quirks are not necessarily the same thing. Instead, what I believe makes a quirk representative
This is the nigga I was talking about.
is how effective it can be overall to making someone an extremely successful hero, an
Yeah,
absolutely horrendous
okay.
villain, or an unstoppable god among
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about some of the
and with
villains.
each quirk I've hand selected as the very best, I'll explain exactly how it fits that criteria in detail.
It's
But
tough to
generally
say,
speaking,
man.
the quirk
Best
itself
Genius
is
might
to
be
have
there,
something about it that greatly excels over the rest. Whether that be overall versatility,
Her shit kinda
overwhelming
cool.
power, being straight up reality breaking in some aspect, or all of that and more. While not overly complicated, these criteria are what helped me pick the very best. I also have terrible pronunciation.
Ah!
Some quirks that are currently manga only as of this video's.
I told you, I told y'all boys.
Spoilers going forward. And
Oh, I wonder if he's gonna put it.
this list
Look. I'm literally about to say a spoiler, so skip by like 20 seconds. If he puts the United States woman, that'd be fire.
was quite difficult.
I don't really
to
know what she
actually
did,
narrow
though, but-
down. As since I could only pick 10, there were quite a few quirks that I do believe should be considered
She
one
has
of
a
the best.
problem. But I be
and
forgetting My Hero
some
names,
that were
bro.
just ever so slightly better in my eyes. But one quirk I do need to give an honorable mention to would be the
This
quirk
stress nigga?
Because if I had that quirk, I'd be a god.
Nah, that 100% stress. Yo, why niggas so mad?
10, Manifest. This quirk belongs to Tamaki Amaji.
Oh
Manifest
yes.
allows Tamaki
He just eats shit. He eats foods and like he could use
to enhance
parts of
his
them.
body's characteristics.
I'm explaining this shit like he's not about to explain it,
Day. An example
This is a
being
good
if he
quirk.
were to eat takoyaki or calamari, he could
Well,
manifest
he used it in the manga
He could mix and
properly, bro.
match characteristics, add and take away specific ones at will, and there appears to be no limit on how many characteristics he can mix or use at once. The only real weakness or downfall of this quirk being that Tamaki has to eat quite a bit, as he can only manifest these characteristics while the food is within his digestive system.
Long as he didn't shit him out.
Periodically consuming an effective arsenal of food to maintain his quirk's usefulness, as if he happens to be fighting on an empty stomach, he's essentially quirkless. However, it's worth
that's
noting
true.
that Tamaki's manifestations don't have to be limited to just food, as he is also able to manifest other people's quirks if he consumed some of their quirk, like with Yu Hojo's crystals. meaning he could also eat things like rocks or sand or maybe even someone else's DNA to gain their characteristics and quirks as well.
That's true. I don't know why I didn't think of this nigga.
Stomach later on, meaning this additional ability is kind of like a double-edged sword.
My tummy hurts, but I'm being so brave about it.
I believe this quirk is one of the best, simply due to how versatile it can be. It may be limited to what you eat that day, which is a pretty big downfall in the grand scheme of things, but I also had this quirk back on my top 10 strongest quirks list in 2018.
No, it's valid.
People mentioned in the comments that getting around this weakness could be as simple as eating something like a food pellet, containing condensed amounts of many different foods that could make this quirk pretty unstoppable even at a moment's notice.
That's smart.
He hadn't been able to eat very much that day and was running low on his abilities. He could just pop one of these and have an ability for any possible situation he could encounter. It has been explained that Tamaki is able to manifest more of a specific characteristic if he had eaten a greater amount of that food that day, but this food pellet solution would be enough for a quick altercation on the spot. Or if he consumed like a handful of these pellets at once, that weakness could be quickly obsolete. In one of the latest chapters, we also saw an example of just how many abilities Tamaki
told you, boy.
at once.
Nigga was going stupid, bro. He was going stupid.
With how many potential abilities you can have at once, it's kind of like having all for one or one for all, except you get to choose what kind of abilities you have beforehand.
I might look badass when he's jumping like.
And this is not even
Let's
going
go.
into all of the endless possibilities with all the different types of foods and all the different substances and even other people's quirks
Imagine that nigga ate a dick.
and therefore have their abilities. So while this quirk certainly has some downfalls and requires at least a little bit of prep time, even at its worst, it is easily one of the best ones in My Hero Academia. But for now, it is the worst of the best at number 10.
Okay, that's valid. That's valid. Yo, that shit looks good, bro. Now I kind of want a donut,
Number 9.
bro.
Half cold, half hot.
Yeah, it makes sense.
This quirk belongs to Shoto Todoroki.
How long is this for, bro? We're 7
Half
minutes
hot
deep.
allows Todoroki to use the right side of his body to generate
Okay, but we understand why.
cold and with his
Oh.
permeation. This quirk belongs
Yeah.
to Mirio Togata.
Once you master it, it's dirty.
Which can be done with his entire body or specific parts depending on what he wants to do.
Hi, how are you?
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Mirio generally uses this as far
Okay.
up to 2. This quirk
Oh, yo, bro. There gets a point where his doubles where he goes
This quirk
stupid.
belonged to Jin Bubaigawara.
Jin
Double allows Jin to
Bubaigawara.
create up to 2 copies
Such
of
a
you
cold
of
name, Jin
anything he wants via the star
Bubaigawara.
fluid from his hands.
However he says
This
it, I don't know.
includes objects or even people. With objects alone, you can only imagine all the possibilities with this one already. But the true power of this quirk comes from its ability to duplicate other people, as the requirement to duplicate someone is for Jin to have a pretty flawless image of them within his mind. To make the duplicate more accurate, he usually needs to measure the person beforehand. But once he does duplicate someone he's familiar with, they are virtually indistinguishable from the real person, even possessing all the memories and abilities of the real person from the last point they were in contact with Jin.
Crazy.
Meaning, for example, creating a copy of Dabi gives the copy all the same fire abilities of the real person. These clones are also relatively durable, but they fall apart after receiving damage equivalent to that of a broken bone, which in a world of superpowers isn't necessarily a difficult amount of damage for most people to inflict. Additionally, if a copy is made of someone that Jin isn't super
really.
or include, it doesn't. How get better? 6. Decay. This quirk belongs to Tomura.
Dirty.
Decay allows
I wonder if he's gonna put all for
disintegrate
one,
anything
because
he touches
Decay and all for one are
further
different.
spread past what he
And this nigga
touches,
has all for one now.
disintegrating everything in sight, living
Or one for all.
inanimate. So say for instance if Shigaraki touches a tree, he will disintegrate it, and the ground beneath the tree will continue to
Yo,
spread
this
that
guy like
disintegration,
awakened it?
even touching it for possibly
Dirty.
as far as the eye can see.
Once he awakened it, it
Originally,
was so
Decay would only
dirty.
disintegrate what Shigaraki was directly touching and wouldn't spread, and the actual disintegration process was rather slow. But now, the disintegration happens almost instantaneously, and can spread as far as
Fucking
Shigaraki
nuts.
wants unless he or an outside party stops it. Which, generally speaking, liquid quirks or some other manipulation seems to be the only way to stop decay from spreading. Similar to permeation, a lot of people were wondering why decay wasn't on my strongest quirks list. The reason being, at the time of that video's release, we weren't shown that decay was capable of spreading and disintegrating things extremely quickly. Now that we've seen just how deadly decay can be, it is
definitely
no
top
doubt
10
one of the
strongest.
Erasure, stopping its spread.
Erasure.
Number 6. Number 5. Erasure. This quirk belongs to Shoto Aizawa. Erasure allows Aizawa to temporarily cancel or nullify quirks through his eyesight. Once his gaze reaches any part of an individual's body, their quirk is cancelled out until he closes his eyes. Contrary to popular belief, he doesn't have to hold eye contact with the individual whose quirk he is nullifying, and instead can look away as much as he wants. So with that in mind, Aizawa can look at multiple people at once and keep their quirks cancelled out so long as he doesn't blink. In a world of quirks, this one is like a natural weakness against almost every quirk.
It's
The
valid.
issue
It's valid.
and
It's very
additionally is for fail. Number 5.
valid.
Number 4.
That's valid.
Rewind. This quirk belongs.
I told you. I
Rewind
told
allows Eri
you.
to essentially revert a
I told
living individual
you.
back to a previous state of being. Anywhere from reverting them back to a few seconds ago to reverting them back to a time where they literally did not exist, and everything in between. This is done through direct contact with said individual, or by being in the near vicinity of Eri when her quirk is activated, meaning it's also borderline impossible to get close enough to her to strike without the potential of being erased.
That's nuts. Hey, yo, what's going on here?
Of a child so bad in my life. And considering Eri is still a child, as she learns how to control her quirk more, I have no doubt that the vicinity
Bro, she gave back
to live on paper at least. But added quirks out
She gave back the man his permeation, bro.
Number 3. Overhaul. This quirk belongs to Kai.
Oh yeah.
Overhaul allows Kai to deconstruct and reconstruct anything he touches, which includes objects.
Actually, yeah, this is a very good
and
one.
Even people, which happens instantaneously. The actual deconstruction and subsequent reconstruction is solely based on Kai's imagination, as he has full control over what he wants to do. We've seen him do this to obliterate people, heal them completely, merge people and their quirks together into one, full-on reconstruct his entire surroundings, and so much more.
Yeah. No, that's a good one.
Or set new. Number
I
2.
got it!
New Order. This quirk
I got it!
You guys ever heard of thread piece?
I told you, bro. If you put her in.
Kathleen Bate. New Order allowed Kathleen to essentially create or set.
I'm surprised he didn't put all for one
pretty
though.
much anything,
Or one for
and a
all.
limit of being able to set up to 2 new rules at once. What I mean by rules is that she can manipulate anything to fit the rules or commands she is making upon them to a certain
That
extent.
shit's cold.
Manipulating existing properties or creating new properties upon herself, her
Just what I
environment,
wanted
other
it to be.
people, or even elements such as air. For her
Yes,
to
bro.
do
She made the
this,
big
she
body
needs
of
to touch her
herself.
target and say its name. The only time this was shown to fail was when her interpretation of someone's identity was different from their own interpretation, as Shigaraki wasn't even sure he was Shigaraki anymore, and therefore could not be affected by New Order's ruling because Kathleen spoke
Played
her
herself.
name. Examples of how this works specifically is that Kathleen can touch her opponent, say their name, and command their heart to stop. After the court conditions have been set, the new rule will take effect, and her opponent's heart will stop beating. In general, she always kept one rule in effect, giving herself enhanced physical characteristics such as super speed and super strength, although these physical traits were noted to cap out at a strength less than that of All Might. She was also able to create rules. Actually, scratch that. We have a tie for first place. Number 1.
All for one and one for all.
One.
Ah!
Quirks are currently in possession of Izuku Midoriya and Tomura Shigaraki, respectively. To start with,
Yeah.
All for One, and
Yeah.
briefly summarize it,
Yeah.
this quirk allows the user
Yeah.
to steal any quirk, therefore keeping said quirk for themselves,
Bro.
being able to use it by itself or
Bro,
combine
Shigaraki
with other
right
quirks.
now?
The amount of quirks
That's
the user
nuts.
can steal is also seemingly endless, and they are
Shigaraki's
additionally able to take
OP
these quirks and give them to
right now,
other
bro.
individuals.
Taken, they have a eraser head, right? They have that nigga that could copy Quirks. The nigga that could copy Quirks is saying UA. That nigga's using Eraserhead shit because Eraserhead is injured, bro. Like one of his eyes is fucked right now. They have that nigga staring, bro. Staring at Shigaraki. He can't use his Quirks. And he's boxing with Bakugo, the Rabbit Girl, Best Genius, the top 3 in UA. Like he is throwing, bro. He's
being able to steal, mix and mash every quirk in existence. The only requirement
and
to
Deku was supposed to be there,
is that
but
the user needs to
hey,
touch the individual
Deku right now.
they are stealing. And in the process of stealing the quirk, the victim is also rendered unconscious and vulnerable. On the opposite side of the spectrum, we have One for All, which allows the user to willingly pass their quirk from person to person. In the process of passing it on, it gets stronger with each new user, giving each additional user extremely enhanced physical capabilities. In addition to that, One for All also passes on the original quirk of each individual user, which just
Deku has like
for a second here. I predicted this could be One for All's true power all the way back in 2018 before we knew the truth. Roll the clip. The exact abilities of One for All are unknown, as it could actually do one of two things that has yet to be confirmed. Either A, it gets gradually stronger over time as it's passed from user to user, or B, it gets stronger by passing from person to person, but instead of just getting stronger over time, it gets stronger by taking the person's natural quirk and absorbing it into One for All. Essentially meaning it's stockpiling the overall power of other quirks into
Imagine he
one
fixed this whole thing and
powerhouse
just did the
as it
audio
passes
now.
from user to user. Yeah, I predicted that. I'm really cool. And
I
have a lot of
predicted
friends.
that.
Oh, brother, this
It stinks.
So the thing is, both of these quirks are equal in their own ways.
Yes,
Which is why they are both tied for my
agree.
#1 pick. All for One seems
Bro, alright, bro. Hey, you know what? W list, bro. I'm sorry, I'm ending it right now. W list, bro. But the moment I see Deku and Shigaraki start boxing in the manga now, bro, whenever they start boxing, it's gonna be fire. And I think an episode just dropped today, bro. A chapter just dropped today, but it's gonna be gas. I'm telling you, it's gonna be gas, bro.